Welcome aboard, everybody. It's Captain D. It's the 16th of January 2020, and today we're flying the Beechcraft 1900D from King Ranch 60TA to T30 McKinley, Texas. It's a 238 nautical mile flight. We're going to climb to flight level 220. As you can see here, throughout our flight plan, we're going to have to traverse some weather, especially right around Sat and Somer, but everything looks to be cleared up at our destination here. So let's get this flight going. We are on the runway because this is where X-Plane starts you at this airport. Got the flight plan in the GTN, got everything set up, so we are ready for takeoff. Release the brakes. Add some throttle, watch the torque and ITT.
FS economy lock-in success.
Do our best to stay center lined here. There's 80 knots. There's 100 knots. A little bit of back pressure, fly off the runway. There's 1,000 feet. Indicated airspeed climb at 133 knots. Alright, we've engaged the nav mode on the autopilot. It's turning us on course. Little bit of weather off to the left, as you can see on the weather radar mapped on the HSI. Torque is good, ITTs are good. Climbing at about 2,100, 2,200 feet a minute. And starting to break out. And our flight plan takes us directly to the MP intersection. We've got this little patch of weather here, but I think we're over top of it, as you can see. And then we'll skirt this other green patch as we head to the MP intersection here. Climbing through 10,000, we go down here and we check our pressurization. That's set. We look here, cabin altitude is climbing, pressure differentials are good. Passing 10,000, shut off the landing lights. So the 1900, as most people know, is a regional airline transport category aircraft. Seats up to 19 passengers with 2 crew, with a range of about 1,000 miles. Alright, we're about halfway through our climb. ITTs are good, torque is good, fuel flow is good. We departed with 500 gallons on board, plenty of fuel. After the MP intersection, we go to the Waco VOR. I got the Waco VOR of 115.3 tuned in to nav 1 as a backup. DME tells us we are 17.6 miles from the Waco VOR. Over on the left-hand corner, you'll see where it says your altitudes may not be correct. That's for the cheap plug-in I use for the altimeter settings when you're not on ATC or can't find one on the an airport ATIS or something like that. It changes based on the pressure, not based on where you're at. So sometimes you'll put one in and 5 seconds later it says it's incorrect. So I usually leave it until I get to a point where I can pick up another altimeter. Alright, there's 15,200. Looks like we're on top of all the weather now. Pretty cloudy down there. So this week's video is really late. I apologize for that. I was going to put out a video Friday, got a little busy, and then Saturday was the football game, so my loyalty to the San Francisco 49ers took precedence over putting another video out. Right now we're only getting 149 over the ground, and that's because we're climbing in indicated airspeed mode, so we're not going to go over 130 knots of indicated airspeed. Coming up on 17,000. $1,000 to go for transition altitude. One thing funny about Flight Plan Go, sometimes you'll switch screens and it'll show your airplane going backwards. But we can see there's a little bit of weather up ahead, but it looks like we're going to skirt around it as we make our way to Somer. And from Somer to destination looks pretty clear. So I'm hoping we can get in there on the visual. If not, we'll go back and do the approach. The reason I'm not going to go for the approach right away is because the approach is approaching the opposite end of the airport. So if I can't make it and I go to do a go around, we're going to head that way anyways. Because from right about halfway between Somer and destination, we're going to break off onto a heading and bring us into a left base for runway 13. Alright, there's 6,700. We're going to level off, and then we're going to have to increase the throttle. We're going to start increasing throttle just to bring up the descent a little bit here. There's the 300-foot warning. I think down about 4,000 we'll be at the base of the clouds there. You can see out the window. Turn west here. And that way we can give ourselves a longer final, just in case. Spotty ground contact here and there out the windows. At 4,000. I want to stay at 4,000 here because we're going to go fly right over the top of Divine 23 Romeo. After we pass through this airspace here, we're going to make our turn and just skirt the outsides here and line us up for a nice left base into 1-3. For the most part, we've got ground contact, so I don't think we'll have any problem doing the visual. We're going to pass through this cloud here. At a 3-mile final, we want to be at 1,599 feet, so basically 1,600 feet. There's Divine Airport right out there. Once we pass over here, we're going to make our turn before we have to worry about the airspace for South Texas Regional. Alright, we're well past the field now. We would cancel IFR and proceed VFR. And begin our descent. Slow up a little bit. Make our turn a little bit more to the west, and this should line us up for our left base. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, 1 miles to the east, gonna line up for left base runway 13, McKinley. Still 20 miles out, so we're going to keep our speed up. That should put me on a 45 for left downwind for 3-1. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, 15 miles north of the field. Gonna enter 45 left base, runway 31. McKinley. Should have planned ahead a little bit better on that one. Still looks like we're going to get a crosswind. 15 knot crosswind right now out of the east. So I guess it wouldn't really matter. Just depends on which side you want to take the wind. But I've already committed to 3-1, so that's what we're going to do. Slow down so we don't break the 250 under 10,000. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900 on the 45 for a left downwind, runway 31, McKinley. Go down to pattern altitude of 1600. Start slowing down. Visibility really sucks. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900 midfield downwind, left downwind, runway 31 full stop, McKinley. Wind dropped to 3 knot crosswind. Much better than 15. Visibility is right at minimums though. I would say it's right at 1 mile. And we're going to extend our downwind to give us about a 5-6 mile final. And then we'll turn base and get configured for landing. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, turning left base, runway 31, McKinley.
QNH adjusted.
McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, turning 6 mile final, runway 31, full stop, McKinley. Alright, we're within gear speed, so once we level out here, we'll throw the gear. Overshot the final turn, turning on the nav there, so we gotta turn back a little bit. But we should be well stabilized by a 3 mile final. Arm the approach. Runway is in sight, gear coming down. And we'll throw in the first notch flaps. McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, 3 mile final, runway 31, full stop, McKinley. Got our 3-degree glide path there. We're a little low. Put in some power. And we're on the ground, safe and sound. Flaps coming up. And McKinley traffic, Beechcraft 1900, clear runway 31, going to parking, McKinley. And we have arrived. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. I welcome your comments down below. Just keep it professional if you would, please. Until next time, happy flying.